Hey friends, Joy here. Welcome to Tea Time on Tuesdays at 2. Today's topic, I am going to do a really fabulous dive into the rainbow that creates the tea that we love. I hope that you steep yourself a cup of tea and join me every week for Tea Time on Tuesdays at 2. So like I said, today's topic specifically is drinking the entire rainbow and what that means when it comes to the tea plant. So first off, I happen to be the owner of Sub Rosa Tea, and we opened our doors in June of 2012. And just recently, we received so many new followers on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube channel, and email newsletter that I really wanted to make sure that I did a video for all of you because so many of you are new and you're also new to tea drinking. Some of you have been drinking tea your whole lives, but you're new to loose leaf tea, and some of you are just plain old new to Sub Rosa Tea. So I wanted to give you all a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining our community. I really appreciate it. But first, let's talk about it. When was the first time that you had a cup of tea? Do you remember? Leave me a comment below. My mother was a tea drinker when I was a child, but I don't remember her sharing. That wasn't really a thing. That's not something that we did together. I kind of got into tea more when I was an adult, so I just can't recall my very first cup of tea ever, but I totally remember my first cup of good quality loose leaf tea. You better believe it. I mean, it made such a difference in my life. I'm now the owner of a tea company. So it was definitely very noticeable. It was very memorable. It was very eye-opening. I have been a foodie my entire adult life. I love to be in the kitchen. I love to cook. I love to play with recipes. And there's just no difference in tea. I mean, absolutely. I need my tea to taste fabulous. But it's very interesting how the tea plant can yield all of these different types of teas, and honestly I think they taste really different. So I'm kind of curious to hear your opinion. Which of these teas that I'm going to talk about today, you make sure you leave me a comment, because I want to know, when was the first time you had any of these? Maybe you haven't even had them all yet. I'm only going to talk about 7. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I just kind of want to give you a nice glossy overview just to make sure that you are at very least educated if you do decide to buy anything from us, that you know exactly where we're coming from. So anyway, let's talk about the tea plant for a little bit. So the tea plant, guess what, friends? I think the majority of people who are watching these videos live in the US. Tea does not typically grow in the United States. We just don't have the elevation and the rainfall that the tea plant actually needs. However, we are very thankful that other people are growing our tea for us, and it's very interesting how the tea plant grows, what it needs, what it looks like when it is growing, and how it's processed very differently to yield these different results. So let's talk about the first one. The first one is black tea, and I have my camera set up with a bunch of different lights, so I'm going to see if my camera can actually focus on these colors so you can actually see the rainbow that I'm talking about today. So we're going to start with black tea. So black tea, friends, is the most oxidized of all of the tea that we are going to talk about today. So as you can see, this is a pretty small leaf, but it's not the smallest that we're going to talk about today. This is an actual whole leaf product. We sell loose leaf tea, and that's what I have in my hand here. And I want you to note something. As I bring these little baby teacups up to the camera, all of the teacups will have exactly 1/2 ounce of tea. And so I want you to notice the volume and how different they look and how they appear. Even though they're all from the same tea plant, they're going to look really different. So the first one is black tea. Have you traveled abroad? Black tea is very typically served in British pubs. Black tea is typically enjoyed by the Brits with milk and sugar. Have you thought about that? Why is that? Why is it that British people typically add something to tea when us Americans, we normally don't? I think it might be because black tea is very typically more bitter than some of the other blends. So the tea plant grows in two different varieties, which you might not know. A small tea leaf yields the Ceylon plant that we love so much at Sub Rosa Tea, and a larger tea leafed plant yields Assam tea. Again, friends, I'm just kind of being general, but most of our black teas at Sub Rosa Tea are Ceylon based. So we sell a breakfast blend, and that is Ceylon, but we do use Assam in several of our blends, specifically the pina colada. The pina colada is Assam based. Assam based teas are typically even more bitter than a Ceylon can be. However, I've added it to, of course, pineapple and coconut, so it lends itself perfectly for a sweeter tea blend. Now, we at Sub Rosa Tea do not add any sugar. We don't add anything artificial. We don't do any artificial colorings or flavorings. We are an all-natural company. So as you know, pineapple and coconut are naturally pretty sweet. So it's just a beautiful balance in our pina colada blend. So 2 different yields in one black tea. Isn't that interesting? But it gets better from there. The tea plant also yields our second tea flavor of choice, and this is oolong tea. Oh, friends, I'm trying so hard. I've got a couple different lights trying to get the camera to focus so you can see the difference that oolong tea, the leaves are larger in size than the black tea that I held up, and it is more amber in color. Oolong is by far one of my favorites. It is nice and smooth and tangy. If you have ever ordered iced tea in a restaurant and they give you plain brown tea tasting tea, that's what iced oolong tea is going to taste like. All you need to do is put the oolong tea right in cold water, 20 minutes, half hour, and you will have fabulous iced tea in your cup. No sweetener necessary, I promise. So oolong tea is less oxidized. It has a ton of antioxidants. Those are 2 different things. And it has a little less on the caffeine side than black tea does, just a little bit. Oolong tea is actually known to be better steeped 3 to 5 times. Have you done that? Have you tried that yet? Promise yourself the next time you buy an oolong tea that you're going to steep it multiple times. Take a sip each time. Try it. See what you think. The majority of the infuser baskets that we sell are very easily removed when you're done steeping it hot, and then you can put those tea leaves right back in fresh water and steep yourself up another cup of tea. Now, on our packages, we are very specifically recommending the time to steep it, the temperature, and of course the serving size. So if you are brand new to loose leaf tea, don't worry, don't panic. It is not hard, it's not complicated. We've taken the guesswork out of everything. We put it all on our package. So as long as you can read, and I know you can, you're gonna figure it out just fine. But all of the teas that I'm talking about today are good both hot and cold. So I know right now, where I live in Northern Ohio, we are literally setting a record today. I cannot believe it. It is going to be one of the hottest days on record for this particular date. So I know a lot of you are thinking iced tea. Don't worry. Don't worry. You can definitely have our tea both hot and cold. Oolong tea is typically served in Chinese restaurants. Now, think about that. I don't know about you, but I think Chinese food is a little bit on the salty side. I'm okay with that. I like it that way. But oolong tea is known to be good with salty food, which I suspect is absolutely why you get served that in a fine Chinese restaurant. They'll typically serve it either with or after a meal. Why do you think that is? It's because it's known to be good for metabolism. I don't know about you, but I never eat a tiny portion of Chinese food. Like, not ever. I don't think it's possible. So knowing that oolong tea is good for your metabolism, it's a perfect time to steep yourself up a cup of oolong, either with or after a fabulous Chinese meal. By the way, friends, oolong tea is also known to be good for alertness. So if you've got a student in your life and they are interested in drinking tea, you might want to consider an oolong for them. We do sell it unflavored and, of course, as flavored blends as well. Let's move on to the next tea. The next tea in our rainbow is green tea. Friends, this is what green tea looks like. I know, it kind of looks like grass, doesn't it? But I gotta tell you, this plant is so much more than a blade of grass. Yes, it is actually the color green. Green tea is. For those of you who have been drinking tea bag tea, you might even not know what's in a tea bag, but good quality loose leaf tea is produced first. What is added to a tea bag is literally called dust and fannings. It's the secondary byproduct of producing loose leaf tea. Loose leaf tea, friends, has 10 times the antioxidants of tea bag tea. So if given a choice, you make the change as soon as you can, okay? So green tea is known to be low in caffeine, but really high in antioxidants. Technically, the fancy term is polyphenols. It has a lot of polyphenols in it, which is why you may hear like a celebrity doctor always talking about green tea. Oh, you gotta drink your green tea. That's true. It has a lot of polyphenols, and those fancy antioxidants give it its color and aroma and taste. I have to say, if you have ever had a cup of green tea that you just didn't like, try it one more time for me, okay? Promise, pinky swear that you will try it one more time. Try it at a lower temperature. If I was given a cup of green tea that was steeped in boiling water, I would not enjoy it. It's too hot. It actually bruises the tea leaves. So consider a lower temperature if you're going to steep it hot. Also, consider it nice cold water. Go ahead, steep it cold right in the fridge. Also, consider steep time. If you've had green tea and you just don't care for it, consider steeping it for a different amount of time. On our packages, we recommend 2 to 3 minutes, but your taste buds, you might prefer 1.5 minutes, maybe 2. Maybe you're just not going to like it hot. Try it cold steeped instead. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not like you're not going to get the health benefits just because you're doing something a little outside the box. You might just like it. You might just surprise yourself. Green tea is typically served in Japanese restaurants. So if you are out for a fine sushi steakhouse meal and you order yourself a cup of tea, most likely they're going to serve in a Japanese restaurant sencha, and sencha is the exact type of green tea that we sell here at Sub Rosa Tea. Now, next up is white tea. Can you see it? It's not actually white. It's not white. It is a very light green color, but can you tell though by volume that compared to the cup previously, this takes up more volume. The leaves are bigger. Here at Sub Rosa Tea, we sell our tea by weight. So in each one of these cups, I am showing you exactly 1/2 ounce, and that's by the scale, not by volume. So those of you who bake may know the difference. Nonetheless, white tea is actually higher in antioxidants and lower in caffeine than green tea. I suspect that that same celebrity doctor just doesn't talk about white tea quite so much because, quite frankly, it's a little more rare. And in general, it's a little more expensive. So I would assume that when he is talking in generalities, he is just saying green tea, but it's all the same plant. So even if you don't like one, try another. It might be perfect for you. The type of white tea that we sell is called white peony. And I know that word sounds like the flowers in your backyard. They're not the same. It's just the word. You know what I mean? Like how a green onion and a white onion are very different, but they're both onions. This is just the same word used in 2 different ways. So the type of white tea that we sell is called white peony. Again, we sell it plain. We have fabulous flavors. White tea is definitely one of my favorites. Cold steeped, it steeps up beautifully and flavorful without any additives, right in cold water in the fridge. White tea here at Sub Rosa Tea has a pink label. It's not pink though. It's not white either. It's just the type of tea it is. We've got one more tea to talk about that the tea plant yields. Actually, we have 2, my bad. we have 2 more teas that the tea plant yields. So the same tea plant yields black tea, oolong, green, white. We've got 2 more. Let's talk about yellow tea. Who's heard of yellow tea? Now, interesting, I can see visually that this tea does have a yellow hue, and to me, it almost looks gold. I'm trying to get the right angle for the light. I'm so sorry, friends. I'm doing the best I can. Yellow tea is the same tea plant that we've been talking about. It is the white tea that we have encased and steamed. It yields yellow tea. It is more labor intensive for the tea master, and it can be a little more expensive. But friends, tons of antioxidants. This is the actual tea plant. Again, tons of antioxidants, polyphenols, flavonoids, all the good things that you want in a cup of tea, and it is nice and mild. Every once in a while, I've been in business long enough, so every once in a while, I have a customer who says, do you know why green tea upsets my stomach? And I will be honest, I'm not a medical professional. I'm the owner of a tea company, so while I am interested in the answer, I can't give medical advice. I just don't know. I don't know why a particular tea might upset your stomach when another tea doesn't. However, if you are one of those people that green tea just doesn't agree with you, one, try it maybe one more time, steeping it different, like I said before. But also think about switching to yellow and white tea. You're going to get all the antioxidants. I don't want you to feel boxed in that you have to be a green tea drinker. That simply isn't true. It's all the same tea plant, tons of health benefits. So we do currently sell yellow tea on our website, and I have named it a little funny. We had a poll in our top shelf group. We have a private Facebook group. By the way, you're invited. You're welcome to join if you care to do so. I took a poll and I asked everyone what they thought we should name the tea. So it's actually called Cup of Sunshine. Cup of Sunshine. I think it's a really super fun name, and it's just absolutely perfect for how this tea tastes. It tastes light and mild, but very flavorful. It's very bright. I don't consider it to be bitter in any way. It's just a fabulously smooth cup of tea. Speaking of which, we have one more that the tea plant yields, but this is kind of special. This is the purple tea. Not a lot of people have heard of purple tea. I will tell you honestly, in the camera with the lighting, I feel like it does have a little bit of a bluish purple hue to it, but technically here in the kitchen, I think that they very similarly resemble the Ceylon tea that we sell. So it's not a bright purple. I don't want to be misleading, but it's the type of tea. It is a completely different type of tea. Purple tea, the plant grows only in Kenya, and it receives a ton of sunlight at a specific elevation, which yields purple tea. Purple tea is special. Purple tea has a specific kind of antioxidant in it that's called anthocyanins. If you don't know, anthocyanins are known to be anti-cancer health benefits. So we do sell the purple tea by itself. We also sell it in a blend called Purple Rain, and it's purple tea with lemon and elderberry. So it's nice and tangy. It's fabulous for your immune system, and it's absolutely good, both hot and cold. So that's purple tea. Because we are talking about drinking the rainbow and all the fabulous colors that are in my world as a tea lover, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the red tea. So for those of you who've been paying attention from the beginning, I have been talking about one and only one plant that yields all of those 6 flavors. Friends, the red tea is a completely different plant. It is called rooibos. It's known as the red bush tea, and that's true. It is. It's a red bush. It's rooibos. It's spelled kind of funny. It grows in South Africa. It's known as the red tea. It would be classified as an herbal because it's not the tea plant. It's actually tea that's not tea. So all of the tea tea blends that we use the actual tea plant for are called tea globally, no problem. But here in America, anything that we steep is called tea. You could go out into your backyard and pick some peppermint, throw it into a cup, put hot water over it, steep it, and it would be a cup of tea. We've steeped it. So rooibos is an herbal, doesn't have the tea plant in it. I don't even think you'll find it globally, but it's very popular here in America. It is definitely popular in South Africa where it's grown. It has so many health benefits. Again, it's known as the red tea. This plant, friends, is completely caffeine-free. Completely. There's absolutely no caffeine. It never had any to begin with. We are an all-natural company. I know that there are other teas in the universe that go through like a decaffeination process, but we don't do that here at Sub Rosa Tea. So it's just naturally caffeine free, super high in antioxidants. My studies have shown that some studies report it's actually 2 times higher in antioxidants than the actual tea plant. And the health benefits are amazing. It's known to be good for headaches, inflammation, and insomnia. Raise your hand right now if you do not suffer from any of those things. Whew, we've got it rough sometimes, right? Headaches, inflammation, or insomnia, so many of us suffer from at least one of those things. But in addition to it being good for that, it's also known to be good for asthma. It has super antioxidants that literally help block your immune cells trigger how they react to like antihistamines or histamines. Their reaction, it blocks their reaction. So it actually helps you before you have asthmatic-like symptoms. How great is that? Rooibos is also known to be good for strong bones and teeth, which thumbs up on that. I know so many of you are patiently finding the time every day to take as many steps as you possibly can. Do you know why? Do you have any idea why people tell us to take all those steps? It's because every single time you take a step, your bone reacts to, oh my gosh, I'm being damaged by this step. And so that triggers your bone cells to react by making them stronger. So the actual rooibos plant increases the mineral content to help your bone cells grow. Oh, just fabulous. A tea that's actually good for your teeth? Oh, yes. Yes, please. I will take that in my cup any day. Now, we do sell, again, rooibos by itself. We also have it flavored. So for those of you who are looking for a caffeine-free option for your kiddos, rooibos is a great choice. And here at Sub Rosa Tea, we've had tons of fun with the flavors. We have one with chocolate, we have a mint, we have a raspberry, pretty much anything you want. We have a caramel. And so whether you have a sweet tooth or a mint tooth, we have got flavors of rooibos that might be perfect for you. I do recommend that if you are trying our tea for health benefits, that you steep them hot, but you don't have to drink them that way. You can steep them hot or cold. And if you just want all of the great flavor, go ahead, cold steep it. Have fun. It's easy peasy, set it and forget it right in cold water in the fridge, and you're rocking and rolling with your iced tea in just a few minutes. Friends, thank you for watching today's episode of Tea Time on Tuesdays at 2. Everything I talked about today can be purchased on our website at subrosatea.com. I appreciate you watching. I hope you'll tune in next week. Steep yourself up a cup of tea and join us next week on Tuesdays for Tea Time on Tuesdays at 2. No matter what you do with the rest of your day, have yourself a cup of tea and take care of you. Bye-bye, friends.